Guys, to anyone who's new to my YouTube channel, I go by the name of Tshiamo Ngwenya. To returning subscribers, thank you very much for having to revisit your home again. Unfortunately, I'm not at the best of moods or hyped up moods, but I ask of you to, that's if you care, honestly, to please subscribe to my channel, share it, like it, and so forth. Guys, I'm not okay, and you all know that I hate having to be this vulnerable, especially in front of a camera, because I feel like to certain people it might seem as if one is chasing clouds, but I'm not okay. Hence I'm in front of the camera. I was supposed to have edited, because I did take pre-recordings before I did create extra content, even though there's load shedding that I have to compete with, but I did manage to record. And I thought, who's the best person to talk to if not my subscribers or people that generally care about me, because I'm sick and tired having to answer individual questions when people ask me. Guys, I'm not okay, and I'm hurting. Like, I'm hurting so much. I'm hurting so much to a point where at times I don't know if me praying on God is me indirectly cursing myself. I believe in God, and this is no excuse to take away from my belief, but sometimes I ask myself, am I even at a point at which I feel that I want to be in life? And sometimes I ask myself of why certain things have to happen to me. I know someone is probably wondering, if not you, then who, Tshiamo? But throughout my life, I've been one person who has tried at most to please people, and that did take a toll on me. And this is not direct to any specific crowd of people, but it was in relationships that I chose to engage in, platonic and romantic too. Guys, please excuse how I look. I just came back from work, and the screens at work and my fatigue and having to be sleep deprived is really taking a toll on me. Hence I look the way I look right now. But that's not the whole point of why I'm recording this video. For the longest time, I've been one person who have overextended himself towards people. I've been very accommodating. My current friends and previous, they'll attest to that. I've been very accommodating. I've been very vocal with my feelings, and I've been a person who genuinely tries his best to not necessarily please people, but to allow people to be comfortable. And the worst that could happen is if people start feel entitled to the things that I'll do for them or do with them. If people start now feeling as if they're deserving of the things that I have, you know, if people start feeling too envious towards the things that I work hard for and sacrifice towards having to have, that including the current little positions that I have, that is where now it becomes very challenging on my part, because I'm being forced to take very heavy and difficult decisions for the sake of I'm also trying to protect myself as an individual. I know from the depth of my heart that I'm an exceptionally good person, and in no point or way did I try to intentionally want to hurt someone. If you know me very well, or if you a friend of mine, you know that I always tell people to vocalize how they feel should it happen that I offend them, because that does happen. Sometimes we tend to joke around about things that are very, very deep, and you only get to realize it if someone decides to bring it to your attention. And again, I'm just building up to the story that I'm about to share with you guys, because it's not sitting well with me. First and foremost, most of the life that I'm living now was never the plan that I imagined myself that I'll have after high school. But I had always been thankful for the little blessings that came along my life, even though they're not much. But I felt that at that point in my life, or at this point in my life, something is better than nothing, you know. I've been in and out of relationships, and at the most unfortunate parts of those kind of relationships that I decided to engage in, one thing that would hurt me so much would be the case where I start feeling as if maybe I am the toxic person because of how people choose to treat or make me feel. Hence, I chose to try and be a little bit selfish and take myself out of those kind of relationships if I can, for the sake of trying to preserve my peace and sanity. So now, on Monday something happened, and funny story is, last year I had a break-in, which I did a video on. There's a dedicated video that I did prior to this, and I spoke of how I felt that there was an injustice towards me in terms of the South African police services, which I still say I can never rely on those for help unless if I'm at the depth of desperation. Hence, people end up taking matters in their own hands. However, last year I had a break-in, and it so happened that it was a person that I know in person, but I never sustained a relationship with. But it's a person who happened to know me and happened to know where I stay. And during that time, I didn't quite have the security. And obviously, you know, the painful part about this part of the story is that I'm not blaming anyone, really. Or I'm not blaming anyone in particular, but I feel like certain things can be prevented if only people would just listen to you and hear you out and take you a little bit more serious. I remember I was on a call before the incident. I remember I had this strong feeling about how I felt that I don't know, my spirit was not in a great place. I feel that one of the gifts that I have, it's an ability to feel. And I felt a few days before the break and that something was going to happen, but I didn't feel it towards me that it was going to happen to me, you know. However, I remember having the discussion with my dad that, Dad, can you please try to, you know, when I'm at work, can you please try to strengthen the security, like put in like a gate, put in locks, you know, do this, do that. And my dad kept on procrastinating. And I remember when the incident actually happened, I wasn't quite shaken over the idea that it actually happened, but I was hurt the most over the fact that I did address it before. And then my dad went on after the incident, went on to assist me in terms of having to create a lock so that at least the security is a little bit tighter. So I thought. So on Monday, I had another break-in. And at this point on, I'm trying to ask myself, like, why me? Like, for such to happen to me. I'm not saying that it should happen to the next person, but I wouldn't expect the same incident having to occur over and over again, you know. And one would say, maybe Tshiamo, you're too inviting to your own space. The sad part is not knowing who actually is to be held accountable for this, because even the relationships that you chose to cut off because you saw that they have a potential of having to break you are as much capable of having to inflict such pain to you. And so what happened on Monday was that I saw this guy, and in passing he greeted me. This guy, I last saw him last year, you know. He greeted me. He once, it was what, 2 years back that he came here, but now he didn't quite look it to be in a very healthy condition. So one would say that maybe it's probably into drugs or something like that. I had a good relationship with the brother, for which now it tends to be a bit shaken and very questionable. So on the day, yes, he greeted me in passing because I was coming from the stores, and it was around 10, right? And then around 2:30, I saw my outside light. So, okay, so now, ever since the first incident, I'm quite a light sleeper. So I don't sleep as much. So any movement, literally, I wake up. Hence, I always tell my friends, even when they choose to visit me, that they should lock the security. And some may think that I'm trying to be spicy or being controlling. At this point on, actually, I do not care, because it's my life and my safety that's involved. But my friends know that I'm very big on that. Like, every time they come through, they need to make sure that they lock the door, because I'm not a chance taker like that. And whatever that I have at this moment, I work very damn hard for, and I never bother anyone for anything, and that's on period. So I was sleeping, and then around 2:30 I saw the outside lights going off. So inside I switch off the lights, outside I keep the lights on. The outside light went out, and I had a slight fidgeting on the gate, right? So when that happened, I then got a bit startled there, but then I remembered that when something like that last happened, it was because I had a break-in, right? This time I thought that it could be something similar. That's when I took my phone and I texted my mom. I'm like, Mom, I suspect that the thieves are back for the break-in, right? And my mom was obviously, it only went one take because my mom's data had depleted by that time. So now I then heard a little fidgeting. So I assume, or presume rather, that this person took out the light or ripped it out, because I had to store a whole new bulb there, bulb holder, that is. So I suspect this person ripped it out, and then after that they got to check out the lock, because I had a bit of fidgeting on the gate, and I ignored it because I was like, maybe it's, certain people can get like the addresses wrong, but little did I know. So now I tried having to go back to sleep, because my alarm was set for 6, because that's the time I usually get up, right, to prepare for work, or earlier, 5:30, depending. So now I check my phone. Oh, the second time I hear the fidgeting, but now it's literally dark, but the fidgeting is starting to get louder and louder. So as I pick up my head to check towards the door, like I'm still sitting on the bed and I'm looking towards the door's direction, I see there where the spaces, because obviously you can see outside, whether it's dark or through the window, that is, whether it's like dark or it's AM hours, right? I see a light, a torch, as if now there's a torch, and then during that process I hear my gate literally opening, and I know that it can never be my mom. In that moment, I quickly rushed to the door. And mind you, I only had like 1 rand on my phone. I only had 1 rand. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm very emotional. So, I had only 1 rand, and this is where I saw that even though I question the existence of God at times, especially when bad things have to happen to me, I know that He's here. So now, I had only 1 rand, and in that moment, I don't know what I was doing, guys, but I found myself behind the door trying to trap it, because it was just a matter of a minute for them to break down the door and actually enter. I called my mom and I tried to be as loud as I could, literally on the phone on some mom breaking in. And that's when, in the good 2 minutes, I heard footsteps rushing out, and in that split second, my parents had arrived at my place. And ever since, guys, I've been deprived of sleep, because every little movement, it's a trigger. And just when I thought that I was recovering, it's like now I have to start all over again, trying to figure out what is what. Because one thing that these people do not realize is that they're inflicting trauma. They're inflicting trauma and paranoia, and already I have a lot that I'm dealing with in my life, and then there's this that I have to deal with. The constant fear, even at the place which I should find comfortability and feel safe. So if you wanna know, yes, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. Do I think that I'm going to be okay? I hope so. I hope that I am going to be okay for the sake of me and trying to move on. But I'm not gonna lie, guys. Never had I ever imagined in my entire life in existence that I will then be forced to be in a situation where I need to feel as if I'm a prisoner because of someone who sees it fit to inflict pain on another by having to steal from them and all that they have worked hard for, because they're trying to feed their fucking addiction. Yes, I said it. If not that, their fucking greed and pathetic selves, because they can't get up and find a damn job or create something that can help bring them an income. Instead, they need to hustle their ways through us who are trying so hard and still not getting enough or getting that much. Guys, I'm hurt, and to say the least, I'm actually defeated. But I guess this is the part where I have to remind myself that there's a God, and He'll protect. And whatever happens will happen because He has chose that it's time. Anyways, guys, I'm sorry to bombard you with this, but yeah, I'm not okay, and that's just about it. Thank you for tuning in till this far.